Okay, class number 40, clase número 40. Okay, we are progressing. We're progressing. We're advancing. We're getting better. We're improving. Okay, aquí. All right. Are there any Chinese people in China? Yes, there are some Chinese people in China. Muchos. Are there any Chinese people in Canada? Yes, there are some Chinese. There are some Chinese people in Canada. Is there any Chinese food in your house? Yes, there's some Chinese food. There is some. No, there are some. There are some Chinese people. People es plural en inglés. Siempre, people are. There are some Chinese people in Madrid and in Spain. And there is some Chinese food in my house, in my kitchen. Are there any Brazilian people in Spain? Yes, there are some Brazilian people in Spain. Is there any Brazilian food in your house? No, there isn't any. There isn't any Brazilian food in my house. Sigo R que R detrás de vosotros para que oigáis cómo manejamos some, me, any, etc. There is, there are. Estos son los famosos contables e incontables que despista a todo el mundo. Pero es fácil, pero conviene oírlo 500 veces para internalizarlo a través de los poros más que a través del intelecto. Are there any intelligent people in Spain? Yes, there are some intelligent people in Spain. Are there any intelligent people in your house? No hay nadie en casa ahora mismo. No, there aren't any intelligent people in my house. Are there any cinemas in Norway? Yes, there are some cinemas in Norway. Are there any big cities in Norway? Yes, there is one, or there are two big cities. Well, one, Oslo, is a big city. Bergen is not a big city. Are there any big cities in the United States? Yes, there are some big cities in the United States. Are there any criminals in your family? No, there aren't any criminals in my family. Is there any milk in your refrigerator? Yes, there is some milk in my refrigerator. Is there any olive oil in your kitchen? Yes, there is some olive oil in my kitchen. Is there any corn oil in your kitchen? Corn oil? What's corn oil? Well, oil is aceite. And corn? I don't remember. How do you say corn in Spanish? Maíz. Ah, yes. How do you spell it? C-O-R-N. Ah, corn oil, lafas, corn oil. Excuse me, what's your question? My question is there any corn oil in your kitchen? No, there isn't any corn oil in my kitchen. And are there any beans in your kitchen? Beans? Beans? How do you say beans in Spanish? Pues judías, alubias, frijoles. Yes. There are some beans in my kitchen. Okay. How do you spell beans? Beans. B-E-A-N-S. Beans. Okay. Are there any black beans in your kitchen? No, there aren't any black beans in my kitchen. Is there any lettuce? Lettuce in your kitchen? Lettuce? How do you say lettuce in Spanish? Lechuga? Ah, lettuce. No, lettuce, no. Well, how do you spell it? L-E-T-T-U-C-E. Lettuce. But we pronounce it lettuce. Lettuce. Okay, well, what's your question? Is there any lettuce in your kitchen? Yes, there's some lettuce in my kitchen. Is there any mayonnaise in your kitchen? Mayonnaise? Ah, mayonesa. Yeah, yes, there's some mayonnaise in my kitchen. Mayonnaise. You say mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. Man, como hombre. Yes, hombre. Mayonnaise, 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 mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. A's. Casi como Asia. Como Asia. Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. Is there any mayonnaise in your kitchen? Yes, there's some mayonnaise in my kitchen. Is there any ketchup? Ketchup. Oh, ketchup. Is there any ketchup in your kitchen? Yes, there's some ketchup in my kitchen. Is there any mustard? Mustard. How do you say mustard in Spanish? Mostaza. Ah, mustard. Mustard. Must, como I must, yo debo. Mustard. Mustard. How do you spell it? Must, como debo. M-U-S-T-A-R-D. Mustard. Ah, mustard. What's your question? Is there any mustard in your kitchen? Yes, there is. Is there a guitar in your house? A what? A guitar. Un guitar. Bueno, guitar, no, guitar. Is there a guitar? Is there a guitar in your house? Yes, there is. Is there a classical guitar in your house? No, there isn't. Is there an electric guitar in your house? Yes, there is. Is there a piano in your house? Yes, there is. Is there a TV in your house? Yes, there is. Is there any cheese in your refrigerator? Yes, there is. There is some cheese in my refrigerator. Is there any ice in your freezer? Congelador. Freezer. Freeze is congelar o helar. Freeze. A freezer is congelador. Is there any ice in your freezer? Yes. There is some ice in my freezer. There is some ice in there, my freezer. Are there any people in your house now? No, there aren't. There aren't any people in my house now. No, there aren't any people in my house now. Are there any hotels? Are there any hotels in Monaco? Yes, there are some hotels in Monaco. Are there any cheap hotels in Monaco? Hoteles baratos. Cheap hotels. Yes, there are some cheap hotels in Monaco. Are there any Chinese restaurants in Monaco? Yes, there are some Chinese restaurants in Monaco. Are there any Chinese restaurants in Antarctica? No, there aren't any Chinese restaurants in Antarctica. Bueno, mucho repaso aquí, pero repaso necesario. Ahora mis profesores siguen con el repaso. Suerte. Ahora, pronto nos vemos.
Gracias, Richard. I'm Leila. Soy Leila y hoy vamos a hacer un repaso de la clase anterior. Estoy aquí con mi alumna Ángeles. Ángeles, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. How are you? Fine? Good. Ask me if there are any books on the table.
Are there any books?
Are
there
recordad ese sonido. Are there
any books on the table?
Very good. Are there any books on the table? ¿Y la respuesta? Yes, there are some books on the table. Very good. Muy bien, está haciendo fenomenal. Vosotros igual, ¿verdad? Siempre repitiendo en voz alta con nosotras. Ask me if there are any lemons on the table.
Are there any lemons? Are there?
¿Otra vez?
Are there any lemons?
Ask me if there are any lemons on the table.
Are there any lemons on the table?
Okay. Are there any lemons on the table? Yes, there are some lemons on the table. Very good. Ask me if there are any books on the table.
Are there any books?
Are
there?
Ese sonido es súper importante. Are there?
Okay. Are there any books on the table?
Okay. ¿Y la respuesta? Yes, there are some books on the table. Okay, good. Ask me if there are any cups on the table.
Are there any cups on the table?
On.
On the table.
On the. Pregúntame otra vez.
Are there any cups on the table?
Very good, okay. Ese sonido, the. Os pregunto, are there any cups on the table? Yes, there are some cups on the table. Okay, are there any pencils now? Vale, ahora los lápices. Ask me if there are any pencils on the table.
Are there any pencils on the table?
Muy bien, habéis oído, ¿no? The table. Excellent this time, okay? Are there any pencils on the table? Are there any pencils on the table?
Yes.
Yes.
There are some pencils on the table.
Very good. There are some pencils on the table. Ask me if there are any balls on the table.
Are there any balls on the table?
Okay, excellent. Are there any balls on the table?
Yes.
Yes, there are some balls on the table. Okay, excellent. Ahora vamos a hacer la segunda parte, que es diciendo que algunas cosas están en un sitio y otras cosas están en otro. Por ejemplo, algunos libros están en la silla y otros libros están en la mesa. ¿Vale? Y tú puedes ayudarme con esto. Yo lo digo y tú me lo puedes repetir y vosotros siempre repitiendo en voz alta. Some books are on the table and some are on the chair. Okay?
Okay.
Your turn.
Some books are on the table and some books are on the chair.
Ok, entonces como ya hemos nombrado el sujeto, no hace falta que lo volvamos a repetir. Decimos simplemente, some books are on the table and some are on the chair. ¿Vale? Books, no hace falta repetirlo.
Okay.
Okay, so one more time. Some books are on the table and some are on the chair.
Some books are on the table and some are on the chair.
Okay, very good. Some books are on the table and some are on the chair. Okay, ahora vamos a hacer un incontable. Some wine is in the cup and some is in the bottle. Okay? A ver si lo decís bien.
Some wine is in the cup.
In the. Pero es, okay, yeah, some wine is,
Some wine is in the cup and some is in the bottle.
In the. Okay, so very good. Some wine is in the cup and some is in the bottle. Okay? Ahora vamos a hacer otro incontable. Vamos a hacer el agua. Some water is in the bottle and some is in the cup. Repetirlo en voz alta. Some water is in the bottle and some is in the cup. ¿Lo puedes decir tú?
Yes. Some water is in the bottle and some is in the glass.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Y ahora los cigarros. Some cigarettes. Cuidado con la pronunciación de esa palabra. No es ci, es C. La C y la I siempre tienen un sonido que es como si fuera una S, ¿vale? Cigarettes, como city, ¿vale? Siempre es una S. So, some cigarettes are on the table and some are in the box. ¿Te puedo oír a ti?
Yes. Some cigarettes are on the table and some are on the box.
Okay. Very good. Entonces recordad, siempre repitiendo en voz alta. Y ahora os paso con Richard.
Hello. Espera. Just a second. Be patient. La paciencia es una virtud, decimos en inglés. Patience is a virtue. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 pencils in my right hand? And let's see. A ver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 pens in my left hand. Question. How many pens are there in my right hand? There aren't any pens in my right hand. Oh, excuse me. How many pencils are there in your right hand? There are 9 pencils in my right hand. ¿Y la otra pregunta? Okay. And how many pencils are there in your left hand? Pencils? No, there aren't any pencils in my left hand. Oh, I'm sorry. How many pens are there in your left hand? There are 7 pens in my left hand. Now, do you remember? How many pens are there in my right hand? How many pens are there in my right hand? Do you remember? None. There aren't any. 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 ¿Tenny? ¿Qué significa tenny? There aren't any. ¿Tenny? Yo no estoy diciendo ninguna palabra que es tenny. Pues yo estoy escuchando tenny. A ver, dilo otra vez. No hay ninguna, en inglés decimos literalmente no hay ningunos bolígrafos. There aren't any. Tenny, estoy escuchando tenny. Ah, hombre, estoy enlazando, claro. There aren't any. Pero no lo hablamos así, enlazamos. There aren't any. There aren't any. There aren't any. Ah, o sea, there aren't any. Se transforma en there aren't any. Claro. Igual en español. Decís cosas como tira pa'lante en vez de para adelante. Enlazáis y coméis sílabas para dar gusto. Okay, how many pens are there in my right hand? There aren't any pens. There aren't any pens in your right hand. Ah, how many pencils are there in my right hand? There are 10 pencils. There are 10 pencils in your right hand. And how many pencils are there in my left hand? Esta vez no me pillas. There aren't any pencils in your left hand. And how many pens are there in my left hand? There are 7 pens in your left hand, okay? And how many people are there in Madrid? There are 4 million people in Madrid. And how many people are there in Barcelona? There are 2 million people in Barcelona. And how many people are there in the community of Madrid? There are 6 million people in the community of Madrid. And how many people are there in the community of Barcelona? The province of Barcelona? I don't know. How many people are there in the community of Catalonia? There are 8 million people, I think. There are 8 million people in Catalonia. How many people are there in Andalusia? How many people are there? There are 8 million people in Andalusia. How many people are there in the United States? There are 300 million people. 300 million people. 300 million people. 300 millón de personas. No, perdona, lo he dicho mal. 300 millón personas. ¿Cómo que 300 millones? Se dice 300 millones de personas. En español sí, pero en inglés no. Ah, no. En español decís 300 millones de personas, pero no decís 300 miles de personas, ni 300 centenares de personas. Decís 300 personas, 300 mil personas, y luego cambiáis a millones, lo pluralizáis. Pero nuestro tratamiento de la palabra millón en inglés es idéntico al tratamiento de la palabra mil. Si en castellano decís 300 mil personas, en inglés seguimos este patrón hasta los millones y los billones y trillones. 300 mil, 300 millón, 300 billón, etc. Y no ponemos de. No decimos millones de personas. 300 millón personas. 300 million people. 300 million people. There are 300 million people in the United States. And how many states are there in the United States? There are 50 states in the United States. How many provinces are there in Spain? There are 50 provinces in Spain, plus Ceuta and Melilla, which are not provinces. And how many provinces are there in Andalusia? There are 8 provinces in Andalusia. 8? Yeah. How many provinces are there in Catalonia? There are 4 provinces in Catalonia. How many provinces are there in Galicia? There are 4 provinces in Galicia. And how many provinces are there in Castile-León? There are 9 provinces in Castile-León. Excuse me, how many states are there in the United States? There are 50 states in the United States. And how many people are there in the 50 states? There are 300 million people. And is California a big state or a small state? It's a big state. How many people are there in California? There are approximately about 32 or 33 million people in California. And how many people are there in Texas? There are about 25 million people in Texas. And how many people are there in France? In France, there are about 68 million people in France. And how many people are there? Pero luego podéis comprobar estas cosas. How many people are there in Italy? There are about 65 million people in Italy. And how many people are there in Germany? There are about 80 million people in Germany. And how many people are there in the United Kingdom? There are about 70 million people, or 68 million people in the United Kingdom. And how many people are there in Antarctica? There aren't any people in Antarctica. Well, there are a few. There are some people in Antarctica, maybe 200 or 500 people in Antarctica. And how many people are there in the television studio? In this studio, there are only 2 people, Maria and me. Y ahora nos vamos. Pero volvemos después de la publicidad, así que quedaos muy cerca del televisor. Pronto estamos de nuevo juntos. Thank you. How many fingers are there on my right hand? There are 5. And how many fingers are there on my left hand? There are 5 fingers on my left hand. How many es para contables? ¿Cuántos? Simple plural. ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántas personas? How many people? ¿Cuántos lápices? ¿Cuántos dedos? ¿Cuántos anillos? ¿Cuántas ciudades? How many cities? Etc. How much? Que es cuánto. ¿Cuánta harina hay en tu cocina? How much? Eso lo veremos un poco más adelante. Vamos a seguir detrás de estas expresiones para que ganéis agilidad con ellas. How many, how much? How many Indians are there in Oklahoma? There are 200,000 Indians in Oklahoma. Y con ese dato tan interesante de indios en Oklahoma, paso el testigo ya a otro profesor, pero vuelvo pronto. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Gracias, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Soy Fitz y estamos aquí otra vez con el rey de alumnos, the king of students, José. José, how are you?
¿Cómo te pasa?
How are you doing?
Fine. And you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Are you ready?
Yes.
Muy bien.
Are
En
you?
casa. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Are you ready? Okay, José. How many pencils are there on the table?
There are
There are
2 pencils.
pencils.
There are 4 pencils on the table.
Una vez más.
There are
There are
4 pencils on the table.
Muy bien, José. Ahora en casa. How many pencils are there on the table? How many pencils are there on the table? There are. How many pencils are there? There are 4 pencils on the table. Jose, how many magazines are there on the table?
There are
Muy bien.
3 magazines on the table.
Una vez más.
There are 3 magazines on the table.
Muy bien, Ray. Muy bien. How many magazines are there on the table? There are 3 magazines on the table. There are 3 magazines on the table. Jose, how many balls are there on the table?
There are 3 balls on the table.
Muy bien. Una vez más.
There are 3 balls on the table.
Muy bien. Ahora en casa. How many balls are there on the table? There are 3 balls on the table. Una vez más. How. Y nunca es how. Es how como cuando quiere limpiar tus gafas. How. How many balls are there on the table? There are 3 balls on the table. Ok. José, una pregunta más. Una pregunta muy importante sobre nuestro amigo aquí. How many ducks are there on the table?
There is...
Muy bien, José.
Pensaba que me vas a pillar. There is 1 duck on the table.
Hey, una vez más.
There is 1 duck on the table.
On the table. Ahora en casa. There is one, or there's. There is one, or there's 1 duck on the table. There's 1 duck on the table. Ahora en casa. ¿Puedes repetirlo? Una vez más alta. Muy bien, muy bien. Ahora, José, ask me. Aquí tenemos una palabra súper importante. Mucha gente dice ax, pero no puedes decirlo. ¿Qué significa ax en castellano, José? Ok. Entonces, cuando tengo que decir ask me, no quiero decir ask me, porque es como acha me. No, ask me. Y tenemos un ejemplo aquí. Tenemos nuestro alumno José Blasco. Ask. Entonces, José, ask me how many people there are in Spain.
Okay. How many people are there in Spain?
Are there?
How many people are there in Spain?
Cuídate. Are there in Spain? Are there?
Are there
In Spain.
in Spain?
Muy bien. There are 40 million people in Spain, I think.
Sí, más o menos.
Okay. Ask me, José, how many people there are in Ireland?
How many people are there in Ireland?
Muy bien. Una vez más.
How many people are there in Ireland?
Muy bien. There are 5 million people in Ireland. Entonces en casa, ask me. Como asco. Ask me how many people there are in Ireland. La pregunta es, how many people are there in Ireland? Muy bien. José, ask me how many fingers there are on my hand.
Okay. How many fingers are there on your hand?
Muy bien. Una vez más.
How many fingers are there on your hand?
Muy bien. There are 5 fingers on my hand. There are 5 fingers. Ahora en casa. Ask me, como siempre, ask me, how many fingers are there on your hand? There are 5, como 5, F y V. There are 5 fingers on my hand. There are 5 fingers on my hand. José, ask me how many people there are in my family.
Can you repeat?
Sure, of course. Ask me how many people there are in my family.
Okay. How many people are there in your family?
Muy bien. Una vez más.
How many people are there in your family?
Muy bien. There are 16 people in my family. Entonces, en casa. How many people are there in your family? In your family. How, con esta H muy suave. How many people are there in your family? There are 16 people in my family. José.
Que no 60.
No, 16. Muy importante, sí, muy importante, José. There are 16 people in my family. 16. There are not, or there aren't 60 people in my family. Gracias, José. José, how many people are there in your family?
Tú me preguntas a mí ahora.
Sí.
I don't know.
There are approximately.
There are approximately 10 people. 20 people.
20 people.
20 people.
Okay, so how many people are there in your family?
There are 20 people approximately.
In your family.
Yes.
Okay, how many people are there in your family? There are 20 people in his family. There are 20 people in his family. Puedes decirlo en casa. There are 20 people in his family. Puedes repetirlo. Más alto como siempre. Muy bien. There are 20 people in his family. Ahora, José, otra vez. How many ducks, nuestro amigo aquí, how many ducks are there on the table?
There's one duck on the table.
Muy bien, José. Otra vez.
There's one duck on the table.
Muy bien, José. Okay. There's one duck on the table. José, how many lighters are there on the table?
There
There
are 3 lighters.
3 or 2?
2.
2. Okay, okay.
Es que estaba cayendo el otro en el bolsillo. Estaba. There are 2 lighters on the table.
Lighters
Lighters.
on the
On the
table.
table.
Muy bien. Okay. There are 2 lighters on the table. There are 2 lighters on the table. Ahora, como siempre, tienes que practicar, gritar, cantar. Gracias por todo. Os dejo con Richard.
Near and far from. Near and far from, is there? Is there a train station near your house? No, there isn't? Okay. Is there a factory near your house? No, there isn't? Okay, that's interesting. Seguimos aquí. Okay, near, cerca de, near. Near me, cerca de mí. Near you, cerca de ti. Ay, estamos muy cerca. We're very near. Vivo cerca de ti. I live near you. Near. No quiero ir nunca near to. Por favor, quita el to. Ni quiero oír nunca near of. Quita el of. Near. Near me. Necesito a alguien cerca de mí. I need someone near me. Near me. Y lo contrario is far from. Question, is Madrid near Barcelona or far from Barcelona? Bueno, it's relative. In Spain, Madrid is far from Barcelona. Is Oviedo near Gijón or far from Gijón? It's near Gijón. Is Avilés near Oviedo or far from Oviedo? Avilés, it's near Oviedo. And is Almería near Cudiero or far from Cudiero? Where's Cudiero? Cudiero, it's in Asturias. And the question, what's the question? Is Almería near Cudiero or far from Cudiero? Well, Almería is far from Cudiero. Yes. And is Albacete near Tokyo or far from Tokyo? Tokyo, Japan? Yeah. Well, Albacete is far from Tokyo. Is Chinchón near Arganda or far from Arganda? Well, where's Arganda? It's in the province of Madrid. Then Chinchón is near Arganda. Chinchón is near Arganda. Is New York near Boston or far from Boston? It's near Boston. Is Boston near Phoenix, Arizona, or far from Phoenix, Arizona? Oh, Boston is far from Phoenix, Arizona. Ahora, para decir que algo está lejos, it's far. ¿Cómo está Berlín con respecto a Madrid? Well, it's far. bastante, quite far. También se puede decir far away. It's far, pero prefiero simplemente far. Ahora, si vas a decir el complemento después, lejos de Madrid o lejos de Berlín, entonces far from. Berlin is far. Berlin is far from here, lejos de aquí. Berlin is far from Madrid. Is Tokyo near Osaka or far from Osaka? Well, it's near Osaka. In Japan, no, it's far from Osaka. But in the world, en lo que es el mundo, Tokyo is near Osaka. Is Santiago de Chile, is Santiago near Valparaiso or far from Valparaiso? It's near Valparaiso, yes. Is Tucumán near the Bolivian border? Border? How do you say border in Spanish? Bueno, es como la palabra borde, pero significa frontera. How do you spell it? B-O-R-D-E-R. Border. How do you pronounce it? Oh. How do you say? How do you spell it? How do you pronounce it? ¿Quieres mucha información, eh? Border. How do you pronounce it? Border. Border, 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 border. Okay, good. What's the question? Is Tucumán? Where's Tucumán? Tucumán is in Argentina. Is it in the south of Argentina or in the north of Argentina? It's in the north of Argentina, el altiplano. And is Bolivia in Argentina? Bolivia is a country. It's a different country. Is it near Argentina? Yes, Bolivia is near Argentina. Is there a common border? Yes, there's a common border between Bolivia and Argentina. Oh, good. What's the question? The question is Tucumán near the Bolivian border or far from the Bolivian border? I don't know. I suppose it's near the Bolivian border. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Is Sao Paulo near Rio de Janeiro or far from Rio de Janeiro? Well, it's relatively near Rio de Janeiro in the world. In Bolivia, it's far. In Brazil, it's far. Okay. And is Houston near Dallas or far from Dallas? It's 4 hours by car. 4 hours by car. So, Houston is near Dallas. Houston is near Dallas. And is Dallas near El Paso or far from El Paso? Oh, where's El Paso? It's in Texas. Where's Dallas? It's in Texas too. Oh, could you repeat the question, please? What's the question? Okay, is Dallas near El Paso or far from El Paso? Well, I suppose it's near El Paso. Well, it's 11 hours by car. Whew, it's far from El Paso. Dallas is far from El Paso. Dallas is far from El Paso. And is El Paso near Mexico or far from Mexico? I don't know. Where's El Paso? It's on the Rio Grande River. This is Rio dos veces, no? Rio Grande River. Well, in English, yes, the Rio Grande River. What's the question? Is El Paso near Mexico or far from Mexico? It's on the Rio Grande. Is the Rio Grande the border between the United States and Mexico? Yes, it is. Entonces, then, El Paso is near Mexico. Very good. El Paso is near Mexico. Lindando. It's near Mexico. Is Los Angeles near Miami or far from Miami? Bueno, 6 días en coche. Los Angeles is far from Miami. And is Miami near Seattle or far from Seattle? 6 days by car. So, Miami is far from Seattle. And is London near Manchester or far from Manchester? 5 hours. It's near Manchester. Okay. Not bad. Vamos progresando. Okay. Pronto vuelvo. Primero otro profesor.
Gracias, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Hola, soy Hannah, otra vez aquí con vosotros. ¿Para qué? Para practicar, para reforzar todo lo que ha explicado Richard. Empezamos primero, pues saludando a José. Hola, José.
Hello, Hannah.
How are you today?
Fine. Fine, and you?
Ah, qué bien, claro. Siempre se olvidan preguntarme, a mí, ¿qué tal estoy? Pues bien,
Yo,
fine.
a mi rollo, sí, bien, ya está.
I'm fine, thank you. Ok, pues empezamos con vocabulario. Ready? Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Ok, good. Are you ready? En casa, ¿estáis preparados? Ok, empezamos. Pues, posible.
Possible.
Good, repeat.
Possible.
Good. Possible. Possible. Énfasis en la primera sílaba. Possible. Siguiente. Programa.
Program.
Good. Program.
Program.
Yes. Program. Program. Y la última letra aquí es una M. Program. Los labios tocan. Program. Muy bien. Siguiente. Rata.
Rata.
Ajá.
I don't know.
Oh, es muy parecido en inglés. Rat.
Ah, ok.
Yes, repeat.
Rat.
Rat. Ok, rat. Rat. Y recuerda de no decir rat. Recuerda el sonido R en inglés no existe. Rat. Repeat. Rat.
Rat.
Good. Muy bien. Siguiente. Realmente o de verdad.
Really.
Muy bien. Really. Really. Y énfasis en la primera sílaba. Really. Really. Muy bien. Siguiente, pues informe.
Report.
Repeat.
Report.
Muy bien. Report. Report. El énfasis cae en la segunda sílaba. Report. Report. Y aquí escuchar la T al final. Muy bien, muy bien. Ok, rata.
Rat.
Yes, rat. Que no me gusta nada. Ok.
No, a mí tampoco.
Bueno, ahora empezamos con los ejercicios, right? Las frases. Ok, te pregunto.
Venga.
Is there a football stadium near your house?
Is near.
Oh, respuesta corta. So, ¿hay un estadio de fútbol cerca de tu casa? ¿Sí lo
vale.
hay o no lo hay?
There is.
Yes.
Yes, there is near.
Más corta, más corta. Yes, there
There's
is. Yes, there is.
Ah, ok.
Así.
Ok, yes, there is.
Eso es. Ok, su respuesta corta. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Ok, siguiente. Is there a pharmacy near your house?
Yes, there is.
Muy bien. Yes, there is. Repite, yes.
Yes.
Ok, muy bien. Recuerda de no decir yes. Yes, no. Yes. Eso es. Is there a library near your house?
No, there isn't.
Ok, muy bien. Repeat.
No, there isn't.
Good. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. No, no lo hay. Is there a school near your house?
Yes, there is.
Good. Is there a park near your house?
Yes, there is.
Muy bien. Yes, there is. Is there a factory near your house?
Factory.
Yes, factory, una
okay.
fábrica. Factory, fábrica.
No, there isn't.
Okay, good. No, there isn't. Is there a restaurant near your house?
No, there isn't.
No.
No.
Pues ok, no hay restaurantes cerca de su casa. So no, there isn't. No, there isn't. Okay. Is there a freeway or a highway or a motorway? Hay varias maneras de decir carretera. So is there a freeway near your house?
No, there isn't.
Okay, no, there isn't. Es un milagro que ha llegado aquí
Sí.
sin comer y sin carretera.
Es muy tranquilo, muy tranquilo.
Okay, bien. Okay, is there a park near your house?
Yes, there is.
Okay, good. Is there a school near your house?
Yes, there is.
Is there a pharmacy near your house?
Yes, there is.
Is there a library near your house?
No, there isn't.
Okay, very good. Muy bien. All right, seguimos. Ahora practicando más con near, cerca de, y después far from, lejos de. Cuidado de no decir near of, Nunca decimos near of. Otra vez, resiste la tentación. Sé que es muy fuerte. Resiste. Ok, ahora, is Madrid near Alcalá de Henares or far from Alcalá de Henares?
Is near Alcalá de Henares.
Okay, repeat. It's.
It's near Alcalá de Henares.
Very good. It's near Alcalá de Henares. Okay, is Bilbao near Málaga or far from Málaga?
It's far from Málaga.
Very good. Is Madrid near or far from Madrid? Los Angeles. So is Madrid near or far from Los Angeles, mi ciudad?
It's far from Los Angeles.
Okay, repeat. Far from.
It's far from Los Angeles.
Muy bien. From. Recuerda la manía que tenemos con las terminaciones. Y aquí tenemos la M. From. Cierra los labios. Que toquen. From. ¿Cómo se dice ese jugador inglés que jugaba con Real Madrid?
Beckham.
Yes, repeat.
Beckham.
Todo el mundo aquí dice Beckham con la boca abierta.
Sí.
Beckham, pues cierra. Beckham, M. Muy bien. So far from. It's far from Madrid. Okay, muy bien. Or Los Angeles. Ahora, is Segovia near Ávila or far from Ávila?
It's near Ávila.
Very good. Okay, good. Is Madrid near New York or far from New York?
It's far from New York.
Very good. Far from.
Cierra la boca.
¿Ves el esfuerzo? Es que cuesta al principio, porque si no te fijas bien, mucha gente dice from.
Sí.
Aquí con la boca abierta, from. Que se mete un bicho. No.
Inglés andaluz.
Exacto, from, que es inglés andaluz, muy mal. Esto no es, esto no puede ser. Okay, so, is New York near Boston or far from Boston?
I think.
Yes?
I think it's near Boston.
Very good. It's near Boston. Muy bien. Otro ejemplo más. Is Valencia near Oviedo or far from Oviedo?
It's far from Oviedo.
Good. Is Spain near Australia or far from Australia?
It's far from Australia.
Repeat. Australia.
Australia.
Good. Australia. Muy bien. Okay. Is California near New York or far from New York?
It's far from New York.
Very good. New York. Muy bien. Ahora practica en casa con el globo. Ahora os dejo con Richard. Bye bye.
Okay, one more class, one more day, one more step in the right direction. Yo sé por dónde hay que ir. Yo sé por dónde va el camino. El camino incluye esfuerzo, pero yo sé llevaros por la oscura jungla del inglés, que no es tan oscura en realidad, pero me tenéis que seguir. Me tenéis que seguir fielmente a mí y a mis compañeros, porque sabemos cómo llegar. Y necesitamos gente dispuesta a trabajar, a remar, a desarrollar una musculatura fuerte remando, porque si no remamos fuerte no llegamos a ninguna costa y nos hundimos en medio de la mar. En fin, así que desarrollad vuestros músculos para remar, porque necesitamos muy buenos remadores y nosotros sabemos dónde está la costa, la tierra prometida del inglés. Eso os lo aseguro. Thank you and see you tomorrow.